Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming out to see our presentations today. My name is Brenda. I am in the Ayurveda Aesthetics program. We actually graduate at the end of August. In the program, I've learned a lot of stuff about every part of the Ayurveda sides. So I'm going to talk to you about the fitness side today. We all have doshas, and if we are working outside of our doshic balance, we become imbalanced. So I'm going to give you some tips and key things to think about when you think about a fitness lifestyle. My personal journey, I've been in fitness for most of my life, extremely more heavily in the last about 15 years. And in those years, I have accumulated multiple certifications because I've tried to do the latest, greatest, best things. You know, everybody does. Every year it's something new. Doing that, I've learned so much about, since I've been here, I've learned so much about how I burnt myself out and how I've been doing everything wrong for myself. So in that journey, being in the fitness industry, my goal was to help people. Well, I'm telling people to do the wrong thing. My goal now is to help people do the right thing. So I've changed the way I work out, the way I live, and I hope that I can help you guys do that too. So doshas, what is a dosha? Dosha is the force that exists within the body that can be observed and monitored. We all have doshas. Doshas are made up of 5 elements. We are all made up of 5 elements. Earth, ether, air, fire, water, and earth. We all have these elements in our bodies. There are 3 combinations of these elements which make up your dosha. Each dosha has certain qualities, gunas, 20. Heavy, dull, cold, oily, smooth, dense, hard, static, subtle, cloudy, light, sharp, hot, dry, rough, liquid, smooth, mobile, gross, and clear. Learning your dosha and being able to create a lifestyle according to your dosha needs will help maintain balance. These 3 doshas are Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. We can be a combination of all 3 doshas, and some people may have a combination of just 2. So let's talk about what they are. Vata, definition, that which moves things. Elements, air and ether. Qualities, light, cold, dry, mobile, subtle, and rough. Locations in the body, the large intestines, the pelvic cavity, bones, skin, ears, thighs, and nerves. Chief complaint, if your Vata dosha is out of balance, would represent in pain. Imbalanced symptoms, emancipation, it should be emaciation, I think. Debility, tremors, coldness, constipation, distension, insomnia, disorientation, incoherent speech, dizziness, confusion, depression, hyperactivity, and pain. Our Pitta dosha, which is it's fire and water. A lot of people are Pitta, of the Pitta dosha. Definition, that which digests things. Elements are for fire and water. Qualities, heat, light, slightly oily, unstable, and sharp. Locations in the body, small intestine, lower stomach, blood, sweat glands, eyes, skin, liver, and spleen. Chief symptom would be fever or inflammation, heat in the body. Imbalance, yellowing color, hunger, thirst, burning sensation, difficulty sleeping, fever, bleeding, excess discharge of sweat and urine. Your next dosha is Kapha. Kapha is that which structures and stabilizes. Elements, water and earth. Qualities, heavy, cold, moist, static, smooth, and soft. Locations in the body, stomach, chest, throat, head, plasma, liquids of the body, and synovial membranes. Think of it as lubrication, I guess. Chief complaint would be swelling, imbalance, nausea, lethargy, heaviness of the body and mind, white color complexion, chills, congestion, and excessive sleeping. So, what is the dosha? What is your dosha? If you follow, go to the Banyan Botanicals website, you pull up that website, it will give you a little place where you can take a quiz. when we figure out what your doshas are, we can go a little bit more into another video that will tell you what you're doing, what you should be doing for your dosha. This is the website. At the top, you'll see a little green Take the Dosha Quiz. So go ahead and take, I think, about 5 minutes for that quiz. It was very interesting when I did this quiz to find out my doshas and finding out what I am and how badly I've been living in some senses, really.
I'm sorry, can you read the link up there? I
Sure.
can't see the.
If you go to, it's BANYAN, Botanicals, BOTANICALS. You'll probably find more dosha quizzes out there, but this is one that I've found to be quite accurate. The website's probably like, what is happening right now? So many people. Everybody's taking the quiz. Yeah, I do these quizzes, I feel like there's some trick questions, like they're gonna ask me this again and I'm gonna answer it differently and then I'm gonna be a liar. You know what I mean? You're like, wait, how did I answer that? Did you all get your results? No? Oh. Do you guys see some resonation with the results that you've pulled up?
Mine was like
Now, isn't that a little crazy? Okay, so now that you know that, is everybody ready to move on to fitness for your dosha?
Yeah.
Okay, so I pulled up a video that I took away a lot of information from, and I thought I would share it with you so that you could, now that you know what your dosha is, and you can read a little bit about yourself, you can understand maybe the lifestyle, the fitness lifestyle that you may have been using or not, if you're not doing anything, something that you should be doing for your fitness lifestyle. So, cue the video.
Hey guys, it's Monica B, creator of HeyMonicaB.com, a leading resource on Ayurveda and author of In Your Elements, a moving Ayurveda guide to create your best life. And today we are going to talk about exercise, specifically for the doshas. This is important because we might be thinking we need to do certain exercises because somebody says we should, or exercise for a certain amount of time because somebody says we should. But in Ayurveda, you know that it depends on who you are, and it depends on your dosha. So let's do, we're going to do a little bit of, first I'm going to start out with why we exercise in the first place. Well, sweat is a waste product in Ayurveda, and so it's good to release some of those sweats and some of those the waste products through our sweat, through our pores. And so we create the inner heat, we build Agni that way, and we release what no longer serves us through sweat. That's why it's important to sweat every day. Ayurvedic exercise says, hey, sweat until you have sweat in your pits, sweat on your brow, maybe a little bit of sweat on your nose, and you're good. You don't need to be dripping with sweat. And in fact, that can deplete tissues if we exercise for too long, too often for some people. Okay, so overall, that's why we exercise. We exercise to create internal heat, and we exercise to get rid of waste products through the sweat. Okay, the best time to exercise is, as we know, Vata time, right? So before the sun, you all are like, that's crazy. But you know what, in the winter, when the sun doesn't come up quite as early, some of us are up at that time anyways because we have to, like work doesn't change, your schedule doesn't necessarily change at that time when the sun does. So it's a good practice to build that in the early morning, because when we exercise, it's going to be easier when we exercise in the energy of Vata, which is the energy of movement, right? We'll go with that movement. It'll be easier to move our bodies. If you don't believe me, try doing an early morning workout, and then try doing a workout at like 9 o'clock in the morning. The 9 o'clock will feel much more sluggish during Kapha time than it will during Vata time. So if you don't like that option, the other option for Vata time is in the afternoon. So you could do between, 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. and like sunset. But don't go after sunset, is not the time to exercise, and neither is at noon. Those are wrong times to be exercising. We want to do it during Vata time when we feel energized to do so. Okay, so let's talk about the doshas, specifically exercises for them. Vatas, you are going to need to have both feet on the ground for your exercises for the most part. You're going to want to run, jump, hop, run marathon, and all of those things. But for a couple of reasons, those aren't the very best exercises for you. The joints in a Vata person are not as strong. They don't have as much padding. So they're going to feel more of those aches and pains, and the impact on their joints is much more intense than it is on a Pitta person or a Kapha person, because they have so much more built to them. So it's going to be hard on a Vata's body, and not only that, but it creates that motion, that movement even more. So the energy of Vata increases, and they can get that racing mind, impatient mind, lack of focus, lack of clarity, worry, all of those things, as well as even constipation and stuff like that affects the digestion. So 2 feet on the ground Vatas, and that means really nice yoga practice. Walking is awesome. If you must do a little run or a little run walk, I'm going to encourage that you balance it out with proper stretching after every exercise session. or build in yoga like every other day so that you're stretching and flexibility. The key for Vatas is gonna have strength and flexibility. So even weightlifting is good for Vatas, not super heavy weights, but like good weights where they can concentrate, move their body mindfully, and build that strength and build some of that padding and that foundation that they need. So those are great exercises for Vatas. Okay, Pittas, your job for exercise is going to be like stress release. So that's a lot of the reason why Pittas like to exercise. Now, Pittas would love to play a game, like they would like to do volleyball or soccer or something like that, competitive, and that's okay as long as it still feels like a game. If you're getting stressed and competitive about the game, Pittas, that is no good for you. Exercise for Pittas should be physical release of stress, makes them feel lighthearted, happy, relaxed. Biking is good, swimming is good, even a little jog is good, but anything Pittas if you can think of, especially in the summer, anything with wind on your face, or anything involved with water to keep you cool so that you're not overheating. Specifically important for Pittas, do not exercise specifically between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. It's too hot. You're going to hate it. You're going to hate life. I used to run over lunches before I really knew Ayurveda. I used to go for runs over lunches during the day because it was the only time I could fit in my exercise. I was hot. My lips were hot. I couldn't even sweat. I was so, like, water wasn't coming out. I was just hot-faced, hot, dry, hated it. Don't do it. That's why. Pitta, like, increases like no good. Okay. If you do yoga, yoga is also awesome. So yoga is tri-doshic, by the way. All the doshas can benefit. We all can benefit from yoga. It does create strength and flexibility in all of us. Because we want to be strong, but we don't want to be overly built, so we're heavy. We want to be flexible, but we don't want to be brittle and weak, right? So, but Pittas, absolutely no hot yoga for you. No hot yoga. I don't care if it's winter. No hot yoga for the Pittas. And when you're actually practicing the yoga, Pittas, let go. Enjoy the process. Who cares if your pose isn't perfect that day? It is a practice. So Pittas in general, carry that word around in your mind. Practice. I'm just practicing today. I don't have to be perfect. It doesn't matter. It's not a competition. It's not a race. This is enjoying the present. Okay, Pittas, there you go. Kaphas. Oh, Kaphas. You're going to have so much fun with your exercising. You're going to go cardio, dancing, grab a buddy. Weightlifting is not for you. You are weighted enough. You don't need more weight and solid ground and strength. You have that naturally. What you need is movement and lightness and fun and sweat for sure. Because Kaphas have a water element in them also. So does Pitta. So Kaphas, you really need to sweat out those toxins, sweat out the waste products, right? And you'll feel so much lighter and create that heat that you so desperately need. The key for Kaphas is going to be to keep exercising fun. So if Kaphas go to like some strenuous exercise class, because some Pitta person told them they should. They're going to go to the class, they're going to work on, they're going to do it because they're Kapha, they're going to do it with a smile on their face, they're going to be okay, they're going to be okay. The next time they're going to be super sore. Kapha's going to be like, that does not feel nice. I'm not doing that again. And they won't, because they're stubborn. And so they won't. And so Kaphas won't get into an exercise routine oftentimes because they're too flippin' sore from they try to do too much. Some Kaphas keep it fun, keep it light. Yes, muscles should be a little bit sore because it means that they're transforming, but no boot campy stuff, no heavy weights, anything that's going to like this. Kapha is not gonna like that. They're gonna like this little class. Grab your buddies, go dancing, or do an online video where there's dancing. There's been a couple of you, some I have coached, some have just emailed and you take my online course. And you've written to me about the songs that you play when you are doing your Kapha workout. So if you want, I'll put a Kapha playlist below this. You guys can all grab that. It's free. You just have to log into Spotify to get access to it. But super fun, dancing music, shake it a little bit, get a little bit of sweat on top, have fun. So in general, those are the three different types of exercise for the Vata, or for the doshas. Vatas, you're gonna keep your feet on the ground, you're gonna build strength and flexibility, nothing high impact, nothing too crazy jumpy. Pitta, you are going to exercise with the intent of practice and stress relief. There is not anything heavy hitting to chase, there's nothing that's too intense, there's nothing that's too hot for your workouts. And kaphas, you are going to move your body and sweat and make it fun and grab a buddy for accountability, and you're gonna smile and it's gonna be fun and you're gonna really enjoy moving your body because you're gonna feel so much lighter. In general, those are the exercise tips I have for all three of the doshas. I hope that serves you today, and as always, we're gonna keep bringing this Ayurveda to life.
Okay, so now that you know your dosha, have you been doing it wrong? I've done it wrong for many years, and I suffered many health problems and many even mental issues. So now that we know those things, just a recap of what you should be doing, Vata, keep your feet and body grounded. Why? Because ether and air, we're kind of flighty, we're kind of all over. That means just a lot of Vata and a lot of Pitta. So me jumping around, I can be an athlete, I can, do all of those things, but it doesn't mean I should. Just because I can doesn't mean I should. In those years, like it said, for my joints, we don't have a lot of padding in our joints, so I'm just basically wearing everything down that I do have, and then it's detrimental. So, walking, yoga, lightweight weightlifting, proper stretching after every exercise. Stay within your routine for an extended period of time. Stay with what you know you can do and what you like to do. There are different poses in yoga specific to each dosha. So if you're interested in yoga and you want to know how to pacify your dosha, go ahead and, research Vata specific poses in yoga. For Pitta are fire. They want to release, they want to get rid of things. I'm Pitta. I'm competitive. I don't like sports, but I'm competitive in other ways. So I'm a fitness instructor. When I teach a class, the Vata in me wants to be the superhero and the athlete. The Pitta in me wants to be the perfect superhero and athlete. And neither of those are good for me. They just aggravate my dosha. So with that in mind, stress release, physical release. Biking, swimming, running, weightlifting, up to 80% capacity. We are not Hercules. We don't need to lift like we're going to lift a 200-pound whatever, just light, And also yoga. Not recommended hot yoga because you're already hot. You don't want to aggravate something that's already going on. Fun activities for the Kapha. Moving, dancing, light weights, yoga for the Kapha poses. What else do we have? So it is not a one-size-fits-all industry in the fitness industry. It has always been my passion to help people figure out what moves them, and I hope this presentation may give you some guidance in how to incorporate the right fitness plan for your body type. No one body is the same, therefore no one fitness plan is going to benefit all bodies. Once you know your body type, it is easier for you to set yourself up for success and begin feeling the benefits of your choices. Thank you for your time today, and please feel free to ask any questions at this time. No questions? Yes.
So you said you're a fitness instructor. Have you adjusted how you do that based on these things that you've learned?
Yes, I have. I own a fitness studio, so of course, owning it, I have to step in and do everything or know how to do everything. I've recruited other fitness instructors to be able to come on to do those things. I've used to teach 24 classes a week. I now teach approximately 7 classes a week. 24 out of those 24 classes, I taught probably 10 high-intensity spin classes for an hour, sometimes 2 a day. Now I teach literally 1 strength spin class for a half hour and 1 cardio spin class for a half hour. That's it. I do 2 HIIT classes a week. I do 1 to 2 yoga classes a week focused on yin stretching. Yin is a longer stretching pose or holding the poses in yoga much longer, letting your body surrender to your stretch. And then I do probably two strength classes a week, 2, sometimes 3. So in changing that, when I was doing the 24 classes, I really burnt myself out. I put myself into adrenal fatigue. I had no pH level anymore. My sweat was just water. There was no alkaline in my body. So doing that, I burnt myself out, and I didn't even know why until I took this program and figured it out. So before you do some of those things, hopefully this will help you. And just because the industry says, hey, you should go to Orange Theory, or you should go to Burn Boot Camp. No, you shouldn't. Not everybody should do those things. So, anyone else? Well, thank you for listening to me today.
Please start. Sorry, please start. Yes, you started.
Okay, my name's Aiden. I'm going to talk about Ayurveda and mental illness. So many people have mental health issues, whether it's depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, eating disorders, impulse control, or addiction. Here's some statistics on mental illness. So as of 2022, 19.86% of adults are experiencing mental illness that is equivalent to nearly 50 million. As of 2021, 1 in 6 children ages 2 to 8 have diagnosed mental, behavioral, or developmental disorder. Some people who have mental health issues are nervous travelers who move most of their bodies, but they can't go into medicine because of past addiction to pills. Mental illness can come from different things such as traumatic experience, social circumstances, physical illness, social environment, mental or physical stress, or it can even be genetic in nature. Help balance your mind, body, and spirit through natural remedies. I would suggest Ayurveda. What is Ayurveda? Ayurveda is a natural system of medicine that originated in India more than 3,000 years ago. Ayurveda translates to knowledge of life and is based on the idea that disease is due to imbalance or stress in a person's consciousness. Ayurveda encourages certain lifestyles and natural therapies to regain a balance between mind, body, and spirit. In Ayurveda, there are 3 doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Each dosha is responsible for a specific psychological function. Everyone has all 3 doshas in them, but some may be more prone to one over the other depending on their individual mind, body, and spirit. Do they have a video?
Hey everybody, this is Brenda. I'm the Director of Research and Product Development at Avianca, and today I'm going to talk to you about Ayurveda. You may have heard about Ayurveda at your yoga class, on your favorite wellness blog, or knowledge or read or Ashwagandha. You may still be wondering, what exactly is Ayurveda? Today I'm going to answer that very question and hopefully give you some tips that you can make your Ayurveda journey. In Sanskrit, Ayurveda means science of life, and it really is just that. It is a holistic form of health practices that really honors the mind, body, and spirit. It encompasses diet, lifestyle, herbs, and even yoga. It's considered yoga's sister science. It truly honors the individual, so one regimen for one individual will not be the same for another individual. Ayurveda's origin is in ancient India, and in fact, the classical texts are actually written in ancient English and Sanskrit. It has survived thousands of years of various rulers and struggles in India. Thankfully, India has preserved this science, and now it's expanding around the world thanks to yoga and its main interest in spiritualism from the East. So you may be wondering, why choose Ayurveda, especially when there's so many other options available to you? Well, I'm going to give you a few reasons. First of all, Ayurveda truly embraces the individual. Ayurveda believes that each person is born with his own innate constitution, which is a combination of various energies and qualities. Because of this, no individual will have the same regimen as another individual. Secondly, Ayurveda really fosters self-awareness. This is so powerful because you can make your own decisions about what to do based on your views day-to-day, moment-to-moment. Third, Ayurveda focuses on prevention. It addresses the underlying issues that accumulate and result in you feeling unwell. In doing so, Ayurveda addresses the root causes instead of the full list of symptoms. Lastly, Ayurveda is truly intuitive. It's based on nature, so if you understand the basic patterns, the whole thing will be quite common sense to you. It sounds pretty awesome, right? Well, most people think so, but then they have no idea where to get started. So I'm going to give you a few foundational building blocks to know. Ayurveda looks at the world in terms of qualities. You know these qualities, they're really common sense versus heavy and light, cold and hot, oily and dry. All in all, they're just about 20 of them. These qualities then combine to make what we call doshas or energies. Vata, Pitta, Kapha. You may have heard of them. Another way to think about these energies is in terms of the elements. Vata is also made up of air and ether. Pitta is made up of fire and water, and Kapha is made up of water and earth. If you tap into that intuitive side that we spoke about, you'll realize that these elements are totally tied to this qualities we talked about earlier. There are these two things that you need to know to get started and make those necessary adjustments in your life: your constitution and your imbalance. Your constitution is your Ayurvedic type that you're born with. It's like your thumbprint; it never changes and it's unique to you. Your constitution is made up of your own balance of the three energies of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. For instance, I'm predominantly Pitta, that fire element. Secondly, Vata, or that air element, and lastly, Kapha. Knowing this has really helped me understand and embrace and persistent driven things to Pitta, mobile and very active things to Vata, and lastly, Kapha. The second thing that is equally important to know as your constitution is your imbalance. Your imbalance is how these three energies, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, currently manifest in your body. Unlike your constitution, which never changes, your imbalance is going to constantly change throughout your life, depending on your diet, your lifestyle, the season, the climate, your stress level, a variety of factors that are constantly in flux. For instance, I know that my Vata is high because I live in New Mexico and it is extremely dry over here. If you don't know your constitution, or you just need a refresher, you can take our Ayurvedic protocol quiz on our website. We'll put a link to it in the description below. Once you know your constitution and imbalance, this is just the beginning of your wellness journey. You're now ready to really start exploring an Ayurvedic lifestyle, which is a vast assortment of tools and resources and various benefits. When you're ready, head over to our website. We have an enormous library of educational information waiting for you. These include tips on creating a daily routine, your personalized diet plan, and even when it's appropriate to do a cleanse. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel.
Okay, so you guys already know your dosha.
I threw some people in here that walked in, so they might want to do the Dosha Quiz.
Yeah, that's fine.
So for those of you that are going to do your Dosha Quiz, you can go on to DietaryBotanicals.com. You can see it's like the blue link below. And you're gonna see a green button that says Dosha Quiz, and you're gonna have to type in your email to get your results. Just take a couple minutes to do that. Some of you might have already done that. Just shut up if you're done speaking else. There's a lot of questions on it. And they're all kind of staggered in their quizzes given. Do you want to wait for some of them to be done, or do you want to move on?
I could wait a little bit.
Okay, cool, so maybe you all have done with your quizzes. Okay. Move on. works with incremental water.
Okay, so if you are more prone to Vata dosha, or more prone to anxiety, depression, insecurity, fear, restlessness, your qualities are dry, cold, light, mobile, subtle, and rough, which means that their skin, hair, and eyes can run dry and their body will typically run cold. They are generally smaller bodied and have thin hair and a bony appearance. They are bubbly, creative, sensitive, joyful, friendly, and free spirit. Some lifestyle, dietary, and herbal recommendations would be meditation, a daily 10 to 20 minute massage with sesame oil to improve circulation and relaxation, going to bed and waking up at the same time each day to get into a routine, gentle yoga, drinking only room temperature water, eating sweet, salty, and sour foods, eating regular meals every 4 hours consisting of warm, fresh cooked, mushy foods such as soups and stews, and some herbal recommendations would be ashwagandha, shitarpi, and bidari kanda. And then if you're more prone to pitta dosha, you'll experience frustration, anger, agitation, confrontation, aggression, criticism, and narcissism. Their qualities are oily, hot, sharp, light, mobile, and liquid, so they tend to be hot and sweaty. They're controlling, irrational, and irritable. They may be a workaholic, judgmental, motivated, strong-willed, and they are typically leaders. Some lifestyle, dietary, and herbal recommendations for pitta would be a 10 to 20 minute oil massage with sesame oil to cool pitta, yoga, meditation, journaling since they bottle everything up to let it all out. They favor sweet, bitter, and astringent foods. It is so important not to skip any meals. Raw and freshly cooked foods, they should avoid alcohol, fried, and spicy foods that fire up digestion. Herbal recommendations would be Brahmi, Ringraj, Guduchi, Gotu-kola, skullcap, and motherwort. Kapha dosha can experience depression, eating disorders, obsessive disorders, and they can be very sensitive. Kapha dosha is like the mom of the group. They are very caring, loving, team players, passionate, understanding, and they have a strong long-term memory. Their bodies are cold, slow, stable, heavy, oily, and static. Kapha dosha can run hot, but they will typically have cold hands and feet. They can feel very heavy, and after they eat, they just go into a nap. They're usually slow moving and slow speaking. Some lifestyle, dietary, and herbal recommendations for Kapha would be pranayama, which is yoga that focuses on breathing, waking up by 6 a.m. and only lightly exercising during Kapha time, which is 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. or 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Soaking in the sun, yoga, they favor sweet, bitter, and astringent foods, spicy foods, warm, light, and dry foods. Hard to digest foods, oily foods, and cold liquids should be avoided. Add trifle powder, mental clarity, turmeric, and ginger are for herbal recommendations for Kapha. If you're looking for an all-natural, drug-free approach to mental wellness, try Ayurveda. It has helped me so much personally, and I'm sure it can help you too. My personal experience with mental illness hasn't been the best. I was diagnosed with depression about 4 years ago, as probably most people begged my mom not to take me because I wanted to figure it out on my own. That obviously didn't work, so I ended up having severe depression. I was put on medication, 50 milligrams at first. And when that didn't help, I was put on 100 milligrams. The medicine I am on has helped me a lot, but so has Ayurveda. I'm still trying to learn how to meditate because I struggle with relaxing my mind. Yoga has helped relieve tension, and an oil massage has helped me the most. An oil massage has helped me to relax and help blood circulation in my body. The one thing that has helped me the most is journaling and pranayama before bed. Journaling helps me get all my thoughts out instead of holding it in. Breathing exercises before bed has helped me fall asleep faster than before. I used to have trouble falling asleep because my mind was constantly running. But breathing helps you focus on only one thing and helps relax your mind and body. I'm still learning how to balance my mind, body, and spirit through Ayurveda. What I have learned has already helped me in short amount of time. Anyone struggling with mental illness should try Ayurveda for a natural and drug-free approach to mental illness. Any questions?
So, hi everyone, my name is Ashley Jones. I'm an Ayurveda aesthetic student, since graduated August 15th. So what I was going to talk or discuss today was the subtle body, kosher energies, and trauma. And before I begin, I'm just going to give a little backstory on me. Before I started this program, August 31st, 2021, I was told my classmates this, my fiance passed away. Elders said the whole journey on earth had ended, had been completed. I've accepted that the universe intended us to separate on that transformative day. I experienced grief, pain, loneliness, stress, and more emotions that I can put into any words. My mind, body, and spirit has felt every pain, ache that it can ever bear or that I felt up to this point. The months that followed this passing was literally like hell on earth. For me, it felt like every essence of Ashley was stripped. Yet my perspective started to change ever so slightly since studying Ayurveda, which began in November. Literally like 2 weeks before this would have been his 29th birthday. Since studying the ancient holistic way of living that still has maintained relevance in modern times, has made me look at my grief and trauma from a different perspective, unlike Western society thinking like, oh, we can just talk it out and take what therapy. Learning about the energetic fields, subtle essences, and sheets that have made me realize I may be holding on to trauma that may affect my energy essence, or just my true self or higher self. Today I will share some of my personal experience of how I breathed in this time and how I'm still breathing and how I'm using Ayurveda to balance my doshas, my koshas, and my essences, which make a portion of everybody's subtle bodies. In addition, I want to educate by teaching the subtle body, 3 subtle energies, prana, tejas, and ojas, koshas, which are the 5 sheets, understanding lower self and higher self, and there could be an inner conflict, which can result in healthy / unhealthy subtle body, how to balance the subtle essences, and how to incorporate lifestyle practices for overall healthy body. So, subtle anatomy has a component of a controlling function of the subtle body. The subtle body is an energetic template of the physical body. However, the components that make up the subtle body are not in solid, dense form. It's composed of energy that balances our functions through consciousness. Which is the basic foundation of mindfulness. Found in the subtle body are 3 subtle essences, and they're prana, tejas, and ojas. Well, first I want to talk about prana. Well, let me go back. The bodily essence of prana, tejas, and ojas are all working in harmonious relationship with the other to make up the subtle anatomy. They are interrelated and connected with the other. The bodily functions of prana is a vital life force, subtle essence of life. So I have a picture of someone breathing. Prana is life force, breath, energy. It's just what we made, how we're still living. I unfortunately saw somebody's prana leave, but I also seen somebody's prana energy come in when I saw my daughter born. So the bodily functions of prana are breath, digestion, blood flow, elimination, cellular growth, and healing. Every breath one takes is a reminder that prana is present. So since we're living, we're experiencing prana as we speak. Prana maintains the quality of our thoughts, flow of intelligence, emotion, and communication at a cellular level. On a deeper level, prana is responsible for our enlightenment of higher self or consciousness. Prana enters our body through our food, air, and absorbing energies from our world and the cosmos. Next is tejas. How I like to think of tejas on more simpler terms is like a glow. If you ever was in puberty and you had that ugly phase, or you see this little glow, and then you grow, let's say, your 20s and 30s, and you're trying to feel like you have arrived, think of tejas as the glow up. So tejas is a radiant energy, it's the subtle essence of pitta. On the subtle level is the inner radiance, refined beauty, clarity, fearlessness, and courage, all positive essence of tejas in the body. On a physiological level is needed for many functions such as the metabolic activity, hormones, and digestion. Tejas cellular intelligence can communicate with each other via hormones and other chemical messengers to fulfill its functions. Because of these functions, Tejas knows exactly what food to eat and what spices to eliminate. And the last one is Ojas, and that's vigor and strength. That's usually the Kapha essence. Ojas is the medium through which the current of prana passes and maintains a cellular immunity. Ojas is a subtle essence responsible for vigor, longevity, and overall well-being. For example, if a person has healthy skin, strong, resilient body, supple, and demonstrated perseverance in any circumstance, I'll say that for myself. Been through a lot in the last year, and I've been able to stay in school, still be a full-time parent, and maintain everything responsibilities. I would say I have strong Ojas. Maybe you can think of a situation for yourself that you have demonstrated Ojas in your own life. From an Ayurvedic perspective, that person has good Ojas. Ojas is associated with mental strength, earthly strength to endure, brings peace of mind and overall quality of life. It nourishes the flesh. In addition, brings the self-assurance, confidence, patience, and perseverance needed to protect the body, mind, and spirit from burning desires that our lower self doesn't realize that it does nothing for our higher self. So on the slide, I described decreased Ojas. So when the body first passed, I just felt like I said my essence is too strict. So like fear of being alone, weakness, heavy, unmotivation to really do much of anything. Because I have a daughter, because I still have life to live, I still needed to live my life. So I had to increase my Ojas. So I necessarily didn't do yoga, but I meditated a lot. Well, not necessarily meditated, but journal. So that's a form of my meditation. I had to make sure I was getting really good sleep and just making sure that I'm still living a full life, even though that part of my life ended. So moving on, the last thing that I covered were the essences, and then I'm moving on to the koshas. The koshas are 5 sheaths that protects our essential nature, our soul. So just imagine 5 strips covering your body as a protection barrier, but we can get into that deeper. Activating the higher self is accompanied by a living with deeper state of awareness to self-realization. By understanding that koshas are energetic layers of sheaths that encapsulates the soul, the 5 koshas protect our essential nature, and they exist together encased within each other. Each layer has their own individual function and principles. I wrote down or typed out all the 5 koshas. They're a little hard to pronounce, but I'll try to make it through. First one is the Annamaya kosha. Anna means food, or the physical sheath that composes the outer layer, including but not limited to the skin, muscles, connective tissue, fat, and bones. This layer is built by the food we ingest. The prominent element of Annamaya is the earth. It's responsible for metabolizing our food and gives the body the ability to function at an optimal level. That's why they say, like going through grief, make sure somebody always has food so they can keep that part of themselves up. If the metabolism is faulty, we begin the onset of physical disease. It is researched, it is known that when somebody is breathing, that they could possibly get sicker, they might even possibly die because they're not eating the right foods. So maintaining a healthy balanced diet such as fresh fruits, vegetables, and staying grounded in nature can refine and cleanse and purify this sheath. So on here, the first one is Annamaya, and the second one is Pranamaya kosha. Prana means life force, so body controls the flow of energy through nadis. The nadis we have 72,000 energy channels all throughout our body, that's how energy passes. The second layer is the life force or breath sheath. The word prana refers to many meanings, but simplest is breath. It can be thought as a circulatory system for prana. Pranamaya is responsible for the fluids such as blood, lymph, cerebral, spinal fluid, and the movement of the breath through the respiratory system. It controls our bodily and spiritual rhythm. The sheath is a bridge between our physical body and astral body. I have the quote, "Be shapeless like water." Be shapeless like water by Bruce Lee. We can start to comprehend the relationship between prana and water. The water is the container that holds prana when it's confined to the body. The metabolizing of water releases prana energy. From a physiological perspective, this concept makes the most sense. We would die without the movement of breath, and the physical makeup of our body being made of the majority of water. Third layer is Manayama. Minds mean minds, access to us for memories, emotions, all information via our senses. That's why usually like if we're going through a trauma or any situation or circumstance, we might hold it in our body, we feel excited, we might jump. If we see something coming that might be dangerous, we tense up. We might hold it for a long time, or if you get a massage and it's tight in any joints, we hold all of that energy. So the Manayama sheath works with deeper inner workings of our mind, emotions, and nervous systems. It acts as a messenger bringing experiences and sensations from the outer world into your intuitive body. To access this kosher, one involves accounting one's perceptions and mental patterns, basically just being a witness to what your mind, what you're thinking. Fourth layer is the Vijnamaya. Kosher means intellect, higher aspect of mind. Mind and heart are free of agitation and are balanced and clear. The fourth layer is the intelligence sheath. It is responsible for metabolizing the air. Air is knowledge and its organization in the mind. It's here we develop awareness, insight, and consciousness. Vijnamaya is the seat of intuition. As one learns to detach from their thoughts, ego, and self, there is room for clarity and inner reflection. For example, a question I may ask myself, Ashley, how could we handle that situation better? Or Ashley, how did that situation make you feel? Remaining witness or posing questions to self by speaking in third person, one learns to become more present and aware of each moment while aging more wisdom. And the fifth sheath is Anandamaya, meaning bliss. This is where we can reach higher self. This sheath is composed of harmony, peace, and contentment. This is the deepest and subtlest of all layers, more so to be experienced than explained. At this layer, one has to develop discipline and inner work over an extended period of time. Once that has been achieved, the level of consciousness reveals the true self or nature. Before moving on, we have a video of a yogi talking more about these 5 sheets. There's a little bit of a language barrier, but hopefully you have some better understanding of it.
I am explaining about the young method and unknown method, the two methods I work. So in this concept, the young method also comes, and that is very important. In this layer, you can start to experience not just by senses. You are not just mind. You are not just feeling. If there is something in you, witness. And when you experience of that, witnessing the thought, your feeling, your emotions, and all kinds of things, and that is become business. As the young age, there is something new watching at the moment. You don't care. So this course is not done in most of the people, only people are practicing meditation or practicing being aware of the thoughts. When this concept of the young course is done, you develop your thought intuitive energy or develop the intuitive power. When this course is developed, intuitive power, you're able to recognize your past. You're able to experience present. You're able to see your future. When the young course is developed, it develops your intuitive power, develop your third eye, and you move faster. Under records, never touch it. The young course is lecture that other existed, like feeling judgment, or feeling anger, or feeling negative to yourself and others. When you are slightly separate your emotional ground to promote yourself is true listening. So when we are able to experience and then we stay there, that is done with the other. And with the other method is done, you start to recognize your true self, blissful, fearless, playful, expandable. And when that recognition becomes more stable, that will become unavoidable, blissful. What is unavoidable? Unavoidable is something in you aligning with your every prior process. Physically, mentally, mentally, with young cause and unavoidable. When they are sinking into each other, you become the part of the whole. You are not just this physical body. You become the system, part of the whole largest system or cosmic system. And that's unavoidable. And when you experience Brahmasmi, an infinite expense, and that's unavoidable. There is two layers or two things in ourselves. One is contraction energy, one is the expansion energy. When the expansion energy is there, and all the time is there, no matter what is happening, that is unavoidable. And that is comes and you practice one by one layer, and then they all shape together. You work on your physical body, you work on your energetic body, you work on your mental body, you work realization. And the young course is like realization wisdom. And then the other things are with the other. And then you are resting in yourself. Namaste. Have a beautiful, happy day.
Can you put it back in, slideshow or presentation? Sorry. It's usually right. It's a little projector. I know. So, what the yogi was saying that you do have to work on all four sheets before you can get to Adonai, which means bliss. So once you live and achieve the highest level, or work on the first form, the level of consciousness reveals the true self or nature. However, there's always an inner conflict of lower self and higher self. And inner conflict that can prevent harmony within the self body. If somebody has difficulty understanding the lower self, higher self, you put it maybe into like the old Arab new man, lower self, higher self being the person basically saying you should do this, this is the right thing you should do. Our true self, our higher self is our true essence, wise, creative, unconditionally loving, co-centered. This one connection to the unconscious. The higher self that leaves the world in a rose-colored view, not marked up by past experiences such as pain, abuse, rejection, abandonment, unworthiness. Under all of that is underneath the umbrella of trauma, nor does it not hold any egotistical values to one's personal wishes or hopes. Because personal wishes and hopes are fueled entirely by ego, higher self can clear any blockages and help manifest any dreams or goals more easily. Higher self is the innermost best part of the person at the purest level, which is underlying. Inner conflict may or will arise when ego, feelings, and mentality contrast the purest moral intentions of the higher self. For instance, hopefully you guys can follow this example. Think about if you're in a relationship that is not aligned with person A due to differences in morals, values, opinions, beliefs that person B holds. Person A may feel their higher self is guiding them to reevaluate the relationship, while lower self is aware of the inner turmoil. Lower self may feel that their true self is screaming, quote unquote, screaming to leave the situation and move into something that is better aligned for lower self and higher self. However, because self is fueled by ego and instant gratification, instead of higher self's long-term gratification, person A will listen to lower self because the relationship may feel quote unquote good, momentarily but totally disregard higher self wisdom, values, and foresight on how the relationship will serve them if they stay or leave. If person A continues said relationship, there can be a stagnation of their personal spiritual growth. But if person A listens to higher self by reevaluating the relationship, person A can remove the emotions, become their witness, and understand that the relationship is not in alignment with their higher self. By moving forward and leaving the stagnant relationship, person A has demonstrated to the universe, spirit, self, wisdom, and discernment that's necessary for their spiritual growth on their path on this physical world, and also in the actual world. In turn, person A can actually experience the fifth sheep and the Maya kosher actual bliss by following the intuition of higher self. The example that I illustrated or described could be very detrimental to the energetic field or order if person A did stay in that stagnant relationship. This detriment in person A life can be defined as a trauma. A trauma is defined as a deeply distressing or disturbing experience or physical injury, or it could be both. Any trauma can change the course of someone's life in their energetic field. Unfortunately, as one experiences the trauma, either past or present, it is imperative for them to understand the lower self and higher self as they process the circumstance. When you experience trauma, you can either experience it a couple ways. Most people may be hold on to it for a long time, their body holds on to the memories, and then you try to patch yourself back up. I can say, I know my classmates may remember what happened. We had a body treatment. We were doing something with a pendulum. We were talking about our chakras. Unfortunately, because I've been through a lot of traumatic things, especially recently, the sheets that covered my body were blocking my chakras. So what that means is my instructor took a pendulum and like the pendulum would stop and it wouldn't go through. Meaning I'm guarding myself, I'm protecting myself from all the trauma, all the things that I hold on to. So it's not imperative to hold on to those things. It's not good for your physical or your energetic body. So for instance, if those things are happening, well, I'll use the example with your relationship. Although the lower self may acquire a victim's mentality due to self-loathing and self-pity because they chose the wrong issue, they chose the wrong decision or not the right path for them. However, higher self will be able to witness the experience instead of the experience owning them, and from there, the higher self will clear out any blockage to get balance, bliss back to Maya. If person A listens to just himself, which is lower self, which is the ego, there could be possibly be unchecked trauma that could affect all five kosher and its optimal function, which would happen to me. Having unchecked trauma and person A did not adhere to higher self intuition, there could be a level of protection wall protecting the subtle body, the sheath, and subtle essences due to a lack of awareness regarding the vision Maya kosher that gives inner reflection as we learn to detach from thoughts, circumstances, and experiences. However, if this inner reflection does not occur, there could be blockages within the subtle body. Subtle essences, the prana, ojas, and tejas that I discussed earlier will also be affected if those sheaths are affected. Yet you can treat the subtle bodies through subtle essences. Healing the four subtle bodies means balancing the prana, tejas, and ojas. When prana is low, we are weak, disorganized, and overwhelmed. partner feels weak, anxious, unrounded, disorganized, overwhelmed, dull, heavy. When Tejas is unbalanced, is hypersensitive, passive, tense, stressed, overcritical, irritable. And when Ojas is unbalanced, is fearful, weak, hyperactive, heavy, unmotivated, and lethargic. But when you balance prana, creativity comes back, enthusiastic tendencies come back, you're adaptable, you're inspired. Tejas, when it's balanced, confidence, motivated, fulfilled, and radiant, that glow comes back. And when you balance your Ojas, you're relaxed, content, stable, joyful, you're actually able to enjoy all of life experiences. So to be able to balance the prana to get to those results, eating with prana, you just energizing foods, fresh or organic, yoga exercises, and drink pure water. With Tejas, eat when truly hungry, sit down and eat a meal. Eat during pizza time, which is usually 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., usually in the afternoon. And Ojas, increase yoga, meditation, quality sleep, joyful, nourishing life experience. So an early Ayurvedic technique. It was an early Ayurvedic technique for lengthening lifespans and vigorous body. It was a Sanskrit word, path of essence. Ayana meaning path, essence means master. So to be able to bring all this home, to be able to balance the prana, tejas, ojas, mix up the subtle essences, and be able to tap into the sheaths and be able to fix that. This is just a somewhat easy recipe. Well, 1 teaspoon of triphala mixed with 1 teaspoon of honey and 1 teaspoon of ghee. And that balances all the prana, tejas, and ojas. I should have put the website if you need to find Fanny Botanicals, or I'll get back to you if y'all want to ask me. But all in all, I can say with me being in school the last almost 9 months and with the experience that I've had, Ayurveda has truly helped me with my healing journey besides just regular traditional therapy. Specifically, when I was talking about the example of not being able to get to my chakras, made me realize like, wow, I'm really holding on to certain things that I can't control anymore. Unfortunately, Bobby isn't here anymore, but I have, I understand that I have the prana, the tejas, and specifically the ojas to get through things. I made it through school, I made it raising my daughter, and yeah, I made it through this presentation. So, thank you. Thank you.
says the 13th, but now since we have the 17th, it's probably gonna be like the 16th. Are we ready? Everybody ready? Are we? No, our phone's here. Okay. This is the camera, right? Okay. Alrighty, my name is Brittany. I will be talking to you today about Ayurveda and women's health. I know a couple of my classmates already went through this. So basically, Ayurveda is the science or knowledge of life. Ayurveda has been around for centuries, I think over 3,000 years old. But still today is so new to everyone. Women's health, on the other hand, has been around for, according to National Library of Medicine, since the late 1960s. The goal of the women's health movement was to always improve healthcare for all women, whereas Ayurveda, on the other side, is abiding by the primary goal and purpose of protecting health of the healthy and alleviating disorders and disease. With both topics having the goal of improving health, I believe that Ayurveda should become a familiar term and resource for women's health. With knowing exactly what Ayurveda is and realizing the common issues and disorders in women's womb health, Ayurveda can be used to formulate and to recommend alternative solutions to Western medicine. So just a quick rundown of what Ayurvedic treatments could look like. As I said before, the primary focus is to keep the people that are in good health and to relieve the disease. Putting it all together though, Ayurvedic treatments focus on internal purification with the saying that every disease starts in the gut. So if you have good gut health or good digestion, you are technically, in Ayurvedic terms, in great health. Although gut health is very important, there are also many other treatments that can be incorporated to lead to a healthier life. Ayurvedic treatments begin, again, with internal purification. So that could be incorporated into your diet, what you eat. With Ayurveda, you don't just want to eat to eat. You want to eat when you're hungry. You want to eat to actually soothe and nourish your body, just not because you feel like it. If you eat to basically just soothe yourself, you're basically leading yourself into disease. With Ayurvedic treatments, you can also incorporate lifestyle changes. If your ultimate goal is to be healthy, you must live the life that you want. Sleep is very important. One must take that always into consideration. During sleep hours, our body naturally fasts and detoxes itself. Also, there's exercise that can be incorporated into lifestyle changes. Staying active, even if it's light yoga, or like Brenda said, you want to work out to soothe your dosha. So, let's see, like yoga, a simple walk, just incorporating some type of movement into your life. Meditation is always a great lifestyle that can be incorporated for anyone. With incorporating meditation, you will be detoxing not only your mind, but your body as well. One last factor of Ayurvedic treatments would be herbal treatments. Herbs are natural medicine, so Ayurveda and herbs go hand in hand. Herbs can be incorporated into the food we eat or taken as supplements, still having the same great effect on the body either way. All of these styles of Ayurvedic treatments could be great or have great health benefits for women's whole health, overall purification of the body and the organs, and they can also aid in the woman's natural purification, which is her menstrual cycle. Okay, so gonna get into the deep stuff. So some common issues that women face today with womb health are light in the life periods, PCOS, which is very, very common, and bacterial vaginosis, which is more prevalent in, I would say, childbearing ages. So with light or delayed periods, these are really more common than normal. As I stated before, the woman's menstrual cycle is needed to cleanse the uterus and the vagina. Another known is PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome. This disorder causes cysts on the ovary,
ovaries and can be painful and affect fertility. And lastly, bacterial vaginosis, or BV as most people know. It can cause discomfort, itching, and odor. There's also a type of vaginitis. Sadly, regardless of the many different problems that Western medicine has, really there's always only two solutions to the problem. And those two solutions are antibiotics or birth control. Sadly, birth control is the #1 recommended solution for PCOS. PCOS is really pretty much a hormone imbalance. So they're basically telling you to take artificial hormones to balance what's already in balance. That doesn't really work. Birth control itself causes way more issues than it does solutions, unless you're strictly on birth control just to prevent getting pregnant. So, the side effects of the Western treatments can include diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, rash, upset stomach, vaginal fungal infection, breast tenderness, light or missed periods, vaginal discharge, and sadly, cervical cancer. So pretty much with Western society or Western treatments, they're treating one issue but causing another issue. But still, antibiotics and birth control are always the first line of defense. In general, there pretty much is always an issue with their solution. Granted, not every person will experience these side effects or the issues to follow it, but in my eyes, why would you even risk it if you're trying to help someone be healthier? So that's where Ayurveda comes in. So when it comes to Ayurveda, all reproductive tissues are governed by what we call our Dhatu in the instance of women. The word Dhatu refers to the 7 building blocks of the physical body. These building blocks include lymph, blood, muscle, fat, bone, bone marrow, and reproductive tissues. With that being said, if a woman is having any issues with reproductive tissues in Ayurveda, we would say she would need to treat or pacify her Dhatu. Pacifying the Dhatu can be easily incorporated into dietary, lifestyle, and herbal recommendations. When it comes to dietary recommendations, we want to choose foods and liquids that have an affinity or likeness to the female reproductive tissues. We all have heard a million times, in life, that one should always drink water to nourish anything. Whenever you're sick, whenever you're tired, everyone always says drink water. But in this case, you really want to consume foods and liquids with natural water content. So not like fruit juices that you can find on the grocery store shelves. You want to actually have pure essences like aloe vera gel, milk, but actually make sure it's natural milk. There is pomegranate juice, and in the top left corner, that is clarified ghee. I put that in there because ghee you can actually incorporate into cooking your foods. It's basically clarified butter, so it's more healthy. It actually is a natural essence, so that's how that comes into play. In the top right hand corner, there is hibiscus. Hibiscus you can take easily as a tea. You can use the actual leaves or you can use the tea bag. Let's see here. And then this is just a picture of aloe vera gel or juice. Personally, aloe vera gel is very, very hard to consume unless you're okay with taking weird textures. The juice is way better or easier. Some lifestyle recommendations I have. #1 is rest. Your body needs that time to basically detox and regenerate the cells and everything else that's been going on. I know everybody always says that, oh, I'm not too tired, I don't need to go to sleep at this time, but having a concrete sleep routine will help you so much in staying healthy and being your best self throughout the day. Next, we have meditation. Meditation, most people know as just being zen, but it's truly an art of peacefulness and purity. Not only is it relaxing and calming, but it also helps the body internally rebalance itself. You can use different breath works during meditation, or you can just focus on mindfulness. And then lastly, the picture is kind of dark, but this picture symbolizes sensual movement. I put that in here because when a lot of people hear the word sensual, they automatically think sexual. But in this case, that's not it. Sensual movement basically is becoming one with yourself. Men or women can do it. With sensual movement, you can take the time to feel like every movement that you're doing. Like for instance, there could be a movement where you're like rubbing each finger down your arm. You want to actually take the time to feel each and every finger. At the same time, you're still moving, you're staying active, so you're getting that gentle form of exercise as well. As far as herbs, there are many herbs that can be incorporated into women's health. I only chose 3 to speak on today. The first one is shiitake. Shiitake includes phytoestrogens that actually mimic estrogen properties. This helps in balancing and restoring estrogen levels, which is so vital to many vaginal disorders. Next, we have neem. Neem, unlike shiitake, does not necessarily have an affinity to the female reproductive tissues, but the properties that it possesses could work in terms of vaginal disorders. For instance, it has antifungal, antibacterial, and antiviral properties. It can really work with fighting off the disorder I named, bacterial vaginosis. It can help balance that natural flora that the vagina needs. And lastly, we have Shankapushpi. Shankapushpi is amazing for anyone to take. It's very calming, it boosts the immune system, and in the case of the female reproductive tissues, it also helps to control the uterine strength and bleeding. So Shankapushpi is very good to take during a woman's menstrual cycle, especially if her cycles are heavier than normal. It can help balance those. All in all, women's health and Ayurveda can easily go hand in hand with each other if we simply take the time to recognize the issues, realize the treatments that aren't successful, and then do our best to naturally implement an Ayurvedic approach. Ayurveda doesn't expect anyone to completely change their lifestyle, which is the great thing about it. You can always take what you want from it and simply just start to incorporate going to bed at a certain time every night and sticking to that. Taking an herbal supplement every single day and actually staying on top of that. And slowly you'll begin to basically make it a lifestyle all on its own. And Ayurveda and women's health can potentially lead to a happy womb. Now next I will show a video. The video is of an Ayurvedic doctor, his name is Dr. Lad. He's actually the one that wrote the books that we have as textbooks. He will talk about how our doshas and the woman's menstrual cycle go hand in hand.
Hi, I'm Lisa from Ayurvedic.com, and I'm here sharing with you today an interview that I just completed with Dr. Rasana. And Dr. Lad has been my teacher for the last 2 years, and he has over 40 years of clinical experience, both in allopathic and Ayurvedic medicine, both in India and the US. And he's the founder of the Ayurvedic Institute here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So he's going to share with us today the introduction to what is Ayurveda, the 5 elements, the theory of the doshas, body constitutions, what happens when those constitutions flow, how to balance, and how that relates to the female menstrual cycle. So enjoy.
According to this system, every individual is unique, unlimited, complete, total, the only expression of pure awareness, pure consciousness. According to Ayurveda, self-knowledge, self-knowing is the foundation of life. To know oneself means what is one's constitution, what is one's value. And to know that, we should look into the Ayurvedic perspective. Dosha is a pure choiceless expression of awareness, completely in the Kapha in nature. And at the time of creation, Dosha is separated. Knowing there was separation, there was translation, autonomy, and that was cosmic prana, which expressed into the Mahan, which is cosmic intent. And then Avianca and other questions. But what is important that according to Ayurveda, in our body, every cell is the center of awareness. And in every cell, there is cosmic intelligence to have. And there is a beautiful flow of communication going on between two cells. That flow of communication is called prana. According to Ayurveda, man is a miniature of nature. In the nature, there is pure cosmic awareness. In the body, there is individual awareness. In the nature, there is cosmic consciousness. In the individual, there is individual consciousness. In the nature, there is sun, gives heat and light. In the body, there is a harmony which gives heat and temperature and digestion. In the nature, there is a moon which governs moon cycle. In the body, in the hormonal changes, the moon cycle of the woman, the menstruation. And moon is the mind. Then there is space, outer space. In the body, there are inner and small spaces. There is air, we have air. There is a fire, we have fire. That is to try and rescue fire. There is a water outside. In the body, there is water, plasma, seal outside plasma. And there is a earth, and you can see zinc, and there is fire. Ether, fire, water, water, calcium, zinc. So, Sarvaranika, Jnana, Pancha, all organic and inorganic matter is made of this part. So, structural aspect of the human body are these five elements: ether, air, fire, water. Ether and air together create the dosha, the principle of movement. Pitta, fire and water is pitta. Pitta governs temperature, color combination, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and transformation of food into energy. That's pitta. And Kapha is earth and water, the building block of the air. So you will see that we have structural aspect governed by five elements: ether, air, fire, water, earth, and functional aspect is governed by three dosha, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. These Vata, Pitta, Kapha, these three doshas, they are present in every single cell as a functional unit. So there are these three Vata, Pitta, Kapha, they govern our immune cycle. For example, in the person's water is dry by 4 because of dry body, water is dry hair, dry skin, dry joint, dry stomach is due to constipation. Water is global because of global body and water is actually they move fast, they talk fast, they never sit still. Even they sit on meditation, they really kind of human. That body is just body of Dosha. They move fast, they walk fast, they talk fast, they are always hyper. What is light? They have light muscles, light body weight. And that's why they are drive up scales. Second, they have solidity and design. This is a very simple picture of the body. So one person has 8 body weight. Actually, and they are light of constipation. So these are the characteristics. In the views and manipulation of the main body operations, there are these sensitivity, eyelash sensitivity, because they have so much heat in the body, so they cannot stand there, so they sweat a lot. They are receiving air, they breathe air in the room they want to do. And the people are practically, they cannot tolerate hunger because of hot bodies. Sharp body, they have a sharp intellect, sharp memory, and they are incredibly good people. So, because of the suffering of the people, they have acid condition. People go to the high track, with all the conditions. They are very motivated. No matter what they choose, they are always going to train you from all the way. They will know the person doing what fast and you bypass the and these things slowly this by all the way. I'm not really listening to but they do not pay. They have high cholesterol, high triglycerides, hypertension, they should be wrong. So everybody should know this is our constitution. But believe this is strongness. Why people are told where are high hormone, anxiety, concentration, beginning insomnia, and muscular dystrophy, these are all the disorders of people. People go to get high trash, they are eczema, psoriasis, peptic ulcer, and ulcerative colitis, and they do very couple they get high cholesterol, high diabetes, obesity, diabetes, and they tend to get unstable population. So, whether it's a man or woman, we have a common characteristics. Ayurveda talks a great deal about how to balance our dosha according to our tradition. That's the for that is our diet, lifestyle, training program, detox program, mantra, meditation program, the silent program. The woman's health is greatly appreciated by because we every month is cycle. And people are born seeking irregular menstruation, gradually menstruation, dysmenorrhea, oligomenorrhea, no acne, pain in the pad and joint, and insomnia, malformation, anxiety. All these are the larger disorders, and if you follow proper diet and herbal program, we can balance the market, and this is will go away. If the people is predominant, then even with the produce natural beauty, then we really get high trash, and these on the face, the things should be there, they basically get essentially, we want to get in the season, for people on the face of the outside, what because of people. So they are talking about people by certain ideas program, and if you can't have people that should have and the source of the food and scab. I make a eat the lesson and food. Amazing changes happen. Woman, menstruation become easy, peaceful, relaxing, going ahead of the game, and don't go into the business because that is what they do. When you come to this part, you're drinking water, you're drinking straight, you're basically not taking. They're not high. They're using some time. They may like this stuff. That is called pneumonia. The surgery and simply rapid is symptoms to be explained to chocolate. There's a magic way in the world, swimming dry, a cup of coffee, and watching clean. This is a common manifestation of menstrual disorder and Ayurvedic program. So I will in the two things. It is a very actual science, which is science of balance, which is science of harmony between body, mind, and consciousness. And I will those who seek a longevity of life and avoid prematurely dying conditions, it can be one can avoid premature you're getting in mind that because if we maintain our balance, if we maintain our health, we can definitely our members. Why do you want to live to ensure that we live the culture and we would like to be service to the God, service to the land, service to the land. When we have to follow service to the land, such a great honor and honor to come to hold the enjoy this dialogue and speak and share all this wisdom to bring up the distance in the learning. We have a recently learned that holding this mind energy mind to be considered. We also did seminar webinar on reading books. So many interesting Ayurvedic travel, information online, and the books, and how to use different dhamma or healing mindset. So in future, speaker will be happy to share with you ancient Ayurvedic wisdom through them. Yes.
Okay, so that pretty much wraps up my presentation unless anyone has any questions. Okay, I'm good.
Are we ready? Alright, neat. Alright, so I'm doing Ayurveda and stress management. My name's Alex, and so this will be interesting to you guys. Alright, so every person who's ever lived has experienced stress, whether they're aware of it or not. Because of this, everyone is at least vaguely aware of the concept of stress. Stress is able to be a physical or a mental strain on the body that can range from an intensity from barely being noticeable to being fully crippled. We may place stress upon ourselves, such as worrying about a personal issue or pushing yourself to do more. Alternatively, stress may be placed on us by others, such as when coworkers or family members demand things from us. No matter who is responsible for causing the stress, whether yourself or outside factors, stress is bound to happen and it will affect you. In some cases, stress may have a positive effect on you and is referred as being called eustress. Eustress is seen as ultimately being a positive experience on the person, even though what he or she went through was a mental or physical strain. The easiest example to provide of eustress is exercising in a gym. When people exert their muscles, it places physical strain on the body. However, if done in a controlled and appropriate way, the body will get stronger and more capable for enhanced physical exertion. This is seen as a positive and beneficial outcome, and thus is called eustress. When stress is seen as having an overall negative outcome on a person, it's referred to as being distress. The concept of worrying is typically seen as being distress, as worrying only serves to cloud people's thoughts with negativity. One of my favorite quotes about worrying comes from Shantideva, a Buddhist monk who said, quote, "If the problem can be solved, why worry? If the problem cannot be solved, worrying will do you no good." Shantideva lived in the late 7th century, born in year 685, and was quoted in topics related to stress. Over 1,300 years later, people are still trying to master and overcome stress. This is not an easy goal, but definitely a goal worth achieving, as stress is able to bring about some pretty unpleasant health conditions. Some of the effects stress can have on the body can include fatigue, stomach issues, forgetfulness, depression, anxiety, headaches and migraines, weight fluctuations, high blood pressure, and heart disease. That's just to name a few. Modern medicine does not have a way to accurately measure how much stress an individual may be experiencing. So it's likely that stress may affect the body in a broad scheme of ways that have not even been researched or documented as of yet. When attempting to lower people's stress, modern medicine tends to be a guess and check game, typically using pills that contain additional side effects, and subsequently may place more stressors on the body. Ayurveda, however, has a different approach to viewing and treating stress. Ayurveda explains that when the body and or mind is stressed, the person's doshas are affected and thus become unbalanced. When unbalanced, a person's ojas, which is essentially vigor or essence of vitality, as described earlier, is decreased. In this context, stress can be viewed as a type of ama or toxin that directly decreases a person's immunity. Ideally, people should avoid stress as much as possible according to Ayurveda, as otherwise additional effort must be used to restore one's ojas. To combat stress, Ayurveda recommends lifestyle changes, dietary suggestions, and herbal supplements. This is much more of a holistic approach instead of the modern medicine focus on mostly pharmaceutical drugs. This presentation will focus on lifestyle changes to help manage stress with the use of dinacharya, oil body therapies, and meditation. With a little bit of effort, everyone can make a big impact in reducing their stress. Ayurveda believes that one of the best methods to reduce and or avoid stress in our lives with the use of dinacharya, or daily routine. With the use of a daily routine, a person is able to not only implement healthy habits, but also to ground themselves. The ability to ground yourself is especially important for the Vata dosha, as this dosha tends to float away with their thoughts if left unchecked. Traditionally laid out dinacharya can seem overwhelming, since they can be a long to-do list of activities. The author of Textbook of Ayurveda, Volume 3, Vincent D. Lott, describes dinacharya as being 23 activities to be done in chronological order. This may work well for some, but modern life in today's society may not allow a person the ability to conveniently carry out all these tasks. So, if dinacharya is an inconvenient laundry list of items that someone has to do, how could that ever help reduce your stress? Well, daily routine allows a person to take control of their day and helps eliminate some of the uncertainty. One of the best things about Ayurveda is the ability to take concepts from it and customize it for one's own lifestyle. When you start to dissect the traditional list and simply view the pieces, not the whole, many people realize that these are not difficult things to incorporate into a daily routine. Instead of attempting to do all the items at once, choose a few specific activities and make an effort to do them daily. Upon waking up, have a drink of room temperature water and brush your teeth. Attempt to have standard meal times throughout the day. Take a moment to appreciate something in your life. By starting out small, many find it's not too difficult to start to create a daily routine. Dinacharya is the perfect way to take control of your life, which over time will fill you with a sense of accomplishment and will reduce your stress. Two traditional Ayurvedic body care, or oil body therapies, Avianca and Shirodhara, are excellent methods to reduce stress. Avianca is oleation using long, smooth strokes to comfortably apply warm oil to the body. Sesame oil is commonly used in colder seasons, and sunflower oil in warmer seasons. Avianca increases the experience of joint and bone pains, as well as lower stress and anxiety. The warm oil lubricates and protects the joints, and if done in the right environment, can be relaxing and soothing to the mind. Shirodhara, which literally translates to head pour, is an Ayurveda therapy that harmonizes the body, mind, senses, and soul. During Shirodhara, a continuous stream of warm, herbalized oil is poured over the third eye and the forehead. As IPW states, quote, the treatment of Shirodhara is said to synchronize alpha brain waves, enhance blood circulation, improve mental clarity, release toxins, stress, and tension, end quote. With both Avianca and Shirodhara, the warm oil incorporates the Dvita quality of Tejas. In other words, it grants the oil the ability to liquefy toxins within the body and pacify Vata. Stress can be seen as a toxin within the tissues, so these services feel like your stress is literally melting away. I strongly suggest that if you've never had the pleasure of experiencing one of these body therapies, do yourself a favor and pre-book when you have some time. When discussing how to reduce stress, the number one method that needs to be discussed is meditation. Everyone has a different view of meditation and what meditation means to them. A lot of people tend to think of meditation as being guided meditation. Guided meditation tends to revolve around a single person speaking with a soothing voice as the person instructs what the listener's thoughts should focus on. Most guided meditation involves an aspect of pranayama, which is structured breathing techniques, and attempts to bring one's awareness to the body. I would like us all to go through a quick 5-minute guided meditation as an example for those who have not experienced guided meditation. So I can come off the video.
To begin this mindfulness meditation, just let yourself get into a comfortable position, whatever that looks like for you. When your body feels ready, you may gently close your eyes. With your eyes closed, take a moment to tune inwards. First, simply noticing your body. Tuning into the weight of gravity, the points of contact between you and the surface on which you are resting. What else do you notice? What is it like for you to be in your body right now? As you observe this, you simply accept and allow whatever it is you notice. Harboring no judgment. Just be mindful. Noticing what is, with a sense of compassion in your heart, and letting it be. Continue to do this now with your breath as well as your body. If you haven't already, begin to tune into the sensations of breathing. What do you notice? Just observe, accept, and allow. No judgment. Just letting everything be how it is. As you stay mindful of your breath and your body with a sense of compassion in your heart. Keeping your eyes closed, you allow your awareness to expand to include the space around your body. It's as if you can sense the air around you, the objects around you, and you just allow them to be as you simply are. There's nothing to do, there's nothing to judge. If your mind wanders, that's okay. Don't judge it. Just return your focus to what is. Being connected to your breath, your body, and your sense of presence in the world around you. You let everything simply be, including yourself. You now begin to let your attention travel back, becoming more and more aware of physical sensations by rolling your shoulders, wiggling your fingers and toes, still being mindful of what is, and taking this present moment awareness with you as you slowly begin to open your eyes back to the world around you. Wonderful job doing this practice. We hope you enjoy the rest of your beautiful day.
All right, so everyone's back in the present now. How is everyone feeling? Just a quick show of thumbs. Good, bad, neutral. Okay. Well, guided meditation may work for some to help reduce stress, but it's definitely not for everyone. I personally hate guided meditation. It takes a large energy toll on me to stop what I'm doing in order to attempt to listen to someone else tell me how I should think or feel. But again, guided meditation is simply only one form of meditation. Meditation does not have to be a structured, large, time-consuming event. Ultimately, meditation should be viewed as an emptying of one's conscious thoughts, which is not the same thing as sleeping. By emptying one's conscious thoughts, the goal is to be in the immediate here and now, and not focus or think about past or future occurrences or activities. Ayurveda believes that stress is created when a person is not fully living in the present. Vincent Gilad describes that, quote, psychological stress is caused by not being in the present moment as it is, end quote, and, quote, emotional stress is a reaction from the past to the perception and the sensation of the present, end quote. So essentially, a person should not worry about what should be, could be, and would be, but really ought to just be living in the present. Dropping these thoughts that are not productive will allow one to free their mind from thoughts that may be causing additional stress. Meditation can help reset the mind, which is useful not only to relax, but also bring clarity afterwards. Once the mind is clear, it can reorganize thoughts and may function better towards finding solutions or ideas. In order to introduce meditation, I suggest that people start with an activity that places them in a state of ease and relaxation. A client I had for an Ayurveda consultation had told me that they enjoyed music and walking in the woods and observing beautiful things. I suggested to them that they combine all three of these things by walking in the woods while listening with their headphones to music and taking the time to observe the beauty of nature. There's no reason that meditation must be done in a darkened room while staying perfectly still. I find that doing the dishes is extremely meditative for my well-being. The simple task forces me to bring my thoughts into the here and now as I focus on completing the task of cleaning dishes. Meditation's goal is to simply be present in both mind and body. Whether breathing exercises like those in various forms of pranayama, guided meditation, candle gazing, journaling, enjoying hobbies, or even doing chores brings one's full consciousness into the present, then it can be considered successful meditation, and your stress will be reduced during that period. Dietary, oil therapies, and meditation are just 3 Ayurvedic techniques that can effectively reduce and manage one's stress. As mentioned earlier, the wonderful aspect of Ayurveda is the ability to take concepts from it and customize them for one's own lifestyle. There is not a one-size-fits-all for stress management, so it is important to test and try these modalities to discover what will work best for one's own unique situation. By using these types of Ayurvedic lifestyle changes to reduce stress, there's not a fear of adding additional negative side effects like modern medicine may cause. If you'd like additional information on Ayurvedic stress-reducing approaches, I strongly encourage an Ayurvedic counseling session with your local Ayurvedic health counselor. Stress is always going to be a factor in all of our lives, but with a little bit of effort, we can make a large difference in managing our daily stress. Does anyone have any sort of questions at the end of the presentation? Anything? Okay. Well, again, thank you for your time, guys.
Thanks everyone for joining. I think we had a forum, right? Yeah, it's perfect. Thanks for being our audience. We really appreciate it. I wanted to get a little bit of feedback. We have about 5 minutes before you guys are leaving. I know you might have to leave because of your time. Okay, all right, let's give a little feedback. All right, let's start with Brenda. Let's use some of those peer review prompt questions. In fact, Alex, you know my sheet. What's up with school now? This is it? Okay. I want to hear from like one person for each of these would be great. So what piece of information from Brenda made a lasting impression on you?
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I don't want to interrupt your class.
Yeah, she went to a chapel here. It's kind of driven my child. It's not 24 sessions all the time here. And there's one actually for herself, she's also demonstrating the population that she serves, which is that you take care of yourself. So that's
Totally. I feel like Lindsay's question was one of the best parts of your presentation. When she asked that question, because then she could really hear what changes you made. What presentation tool did you like the best that she used? Yeah, because that was like really good for people to start taking that. What piece of information do you wish you could have learned more about?
The thing I jotted down was if there was a specific thing for someone with a dual dosha to do.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I can think of.
that's very good. That's really, really good. And then was there any part that you thought could have been explained or presented more clearly?
What would happen when the dosha is agitated? Because you talked a little bit about Kapha, but I don't know, I could use one slide, but I thought it was a good.
I think I wish that the slides would have showed more about how they really respond in the world of activity. Like I know you mentioned it, but I think it would have been really nice to have a visual. So they're not just seeing the Vata, but the qualities and their chi symptom, but actually a slide showing what they might look like what's very common for what the Vata person's going to do. I think that would have been really good. Awesome. I think it was really key. No one's ever done a presentation on that, so that's very, very good. Okay, Eden, we might not get through everybody, so let me know. We have like, what, 2 or 3 more minutes? 6 minutes? Okay, so Eden, what piece of information did you like that had a lasting impression on you for Eden's?
I think the statistics that she was showing of the mental health. Totally. That mental illness is in your time frame and, you know, how it's progressively gotten worse.
Totally. What tool did you think was really beneficial that she used?
I think it was the power one.
Nice.
Information.
And then was there any one piece of information you wish you could learn more about? So my one suggestion is you brought up herbs, you did a really good example, but these people that are not in our class probably don't know much about it at all. So I think it would have been good when we mentioned it to be like, these are some nearby sedatives which mean that they're very calming to the mind. Because I think that information probably got lost on the audience.
Yeah.
Okay, and then was there one part that you wish could have been explained more clearly? I guess that was my thing for you. Anything else you want to add? Okay, cool. All right, let's move on. Tell me when it's time, guys. I know. Ashley, what piece of information did you think made a lasting impression on you today? Yep. What presentation tool did you like that really felt was beneficial?
I thought it was the PowerPoint, which had a lot of information in PowerPoint.
Totally. Was there any one piece of information you wish you could have heard more about? I love that you related your whole life experience with grief through the whole entire thing. I also think you have really good presentation skills because you kept it on a slide and then you just talked. And I think that was really good. You picked a really hard subject for people, and I think you made it really relatable with using grief. I think you did a great job explaining. I almost would have gone you could probably take the higher self, lower self, and even explain it a little further.
That was long, and I was trying to really think I tried to breathe.
Totally, because I actually put times for you guys, and you guys all had pretty lengthy times.
I like that higher self, lower self. It's like the subconscious, the angel and the devil on the shoulder.
Yeah, and you at least got that into people's minds, because a lot of people never even thought about that, the higher self, lower self. So, that's great. Brittany, so what one piece of information made a lasting impression on you?
I like the part of the difference between Ayurveda and how
Yeah, what the heck, I didn't know it was the 1960s. You know, I mean, it was established in the 1960s, that's What presentation tool did you like that she used? Totally. Yes, I didn't get it passed to me, and I thought that was super cool that you passed something around. It actually perked up all of the students. You know, because often they're like, oh, and then they smelled it and moved on. I thought that was really cool. What one piece of information do you wish you heard more about?
I think, it's more like, with the herbs on, or like with the, I don't know what words, but
Yeah.
the remedies.
I think that,
I put it in my paper, I just didn't want to go all the way into it for the presentation, because I'm like trying to be mindful of and trying to touch everything when I go to.
yeah, I think that Dr. La's video was good, but I feel like you didn't need it. Because he wasn't going into women's health, so I feel like you had women's health, and then there was the video. And he did a really good job, like I like that you had people watching this man, but I think it's strayed away from your topic. So I do think I think you could take your thing and you could add some more stuff to it, because you don't really need a Dr. La, you got it in you. You really don't need it. I mean, it would be great to show like a 3-minute clip, but I think people want to know what herbs. I think there's so many women out there that are like, my period is screwed up, I've been on these things for a long time, I feel like I have anxiety and depression, and I think we want to know about it. So I think you can totally expand it, and I think it would be a great thing for people. Okay, and then Alex, what piece of information did he use that made a lasting impression?
Did a chart and a whole list, never really paid attention to how long it was. And it's long, but I liked how he like simplified it and made it even more relatable stuff.
That was very cool, Alex, that you did that. That was very cool that you showed all this, because Ayurveda can feel so overwhelming to people. And then you were like, okay, here's this list, and then here's a short list. So that was really good. What presentation tool did you like that he used?
Meditation. And I love the fact that he said, you know, like his problem is really hard. It's hard for him to meditate, but he finds that his state of meditation is not necessarily closing your eyes and doing nothing. He meditates when he's doing dishes. It's just taking your conscious level to, you know, like in the things that you do on a normal basis.
I've got the QR code too. It's back there if you need it.
What can I read?
Huh?
Can I read so I can listen to?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. Yes, and in Ayurveda terms, we would call that mindfulness. We would call doing the dishes and having that meditative state mindfulness. That's a step before meditation. So it's good to have that kind of recognition and that's Thich Nhat Hanh. Thich Nhat Hanh is all about, you know what, we gotta get mindfulness. So Ayurveda people would say mindfulness practitioners are one step under meditation. So
they talk about theta state.
like, yeah,
And to me, that's meditation. Like when I take a shower, I know I'm in theta state because I have ideas and I can really focus and concentrate. And I'm doing something that's so routine, I don't even know I'm doing it.
yeah. So I think that was really great, Alex, that you put that up. I probably wouldn't even talk about that that was really coming to a state of mindfulness. I think that your images were awesome. I think that your stress images were super fantastic because like right away people are like, oh, okay, I relate. They didn't try, you didn't look at, your slides were really awesome. They really were. Okay, is there any piece of information you wished you could learn more about? Yeah, I think you were so detailed. You did such a good job bridging the gap between presentation and how you go out to find out more. Like you're like, if you want to find out more, then I would suggest booking a counseling session. I mean, that was really, really awesome. Because I think a lot of people are like, how do you do this? did it. How do you feel?
Great.
Okay, awesome. So we have what do you need? Do you need some support now before yours, or are you just fine? Until 4:30. Okay. Me too, and I'm gonna go around the building to, yes,
Oh,
no.
no.
I'm just gonna go down to the.
So should we, do you want us to follow our teams, or do you want us to just?
So you drink is not, I don't think the volume is that great.
Yeah, I can do teams.
Well, we can watch on Teams. That's all I just.
Yeah, and then just please tell me that you do that, or else I won't keep track.
Okay.
Very sad. Okay.
And then also the salmon in your eyes, if you taste it, that tells you how much salt to put in your neti pot.
Oh,
Remember I said that, like sometimes when people use neti pot, they don't know why it burns, but it has to match the pH of your eyes. So if you ever have a teardrop fall down and you taste that teardrop, however salty that teardrop is should be what your neti pot is. Yeah, so some people might need a little bit more than what 1/4 of a teaspoon, and some people might need a little less.
welcome to my set.
I was up here, I'm just trying to find my last pen. That's what you want to get. Do you have an extra one? I'm so glad it came for her thing, because there's no one else. There's not very many next time classes that are free. Thank you. Of course. Okay, Mary, give us a heads up and then she'll unmute too. I am gonna turn this on though. Okay, Mary's gonna get started in just a few minutes.
Got this. Okay. All right. My name is Amira. Thank you for coming today. My presentation is on pain management and how you can effectively treat that with Ayurveda. I chose this topic because it is something that I grew up around. My mom deals with pain every day. She retired from nursing at a very young age because of it. And now at 53, I've been able to help her with Ayurveda, using Ayurveda, and it's been a very nice journey. So we'll get into it. First, we'll talk about what pain is, the types of pain there are, how it affects the body, what to do when you feel pain, common treatments, and alternatives and lifestyle changes. So first, what is pain? Pain can be defined as a physical suffering or discomfort, which is typically caused by an illness or an injury. It can be defined as mental suffering or distress, or an annoying or tedious person or thing. But today's purpose will be a physical suffering or discomfort. So there are two types of pain. Those two types of pain are acute and chronic. So acute pain begins suddenly and lasts for a short period of time. Goes away once the body is healed. And a few examples of those are cuts and bruises. So you can see there's a minor cut here, and in the upper part there's a bruise, and then some broken bones. And also pulled muscles are another type of acute pain. The other type is chronic pain, which is ongoing pain, which typically lasts 3 months or longer. It is present even after healing, and it can be linked to medical conditions and underlying diseases. Oftentimes, when you go to a doctor's office, they kind of ask you how you're feeling, and this is the scale that they use to determine how bad your pain is. So some common chronic pain conditions, sorry, it's a bit of a tongue twister, include arthritis, which is inflammation or swelling of the joints, back pain, neck pain, cancer pain, and also fibromyalgia, which is muscle pain all over the body. Oftentimes it's very hard to diagnose fibromyalgia because you don't really know what's causing that pain. So then it becomes fibromyalgia, and you're just living with pain every day. So pain affects the body through nociceptors or pain receptors, which there's two main types. One quickly relays a signal, which causes a sharp set of pain, and the other slowly relays a signal, causing dull throbbing pain. And different sensations that affect the nervous system are aching, sharpness, stiffness, burning, throbbing, also others like tenderness or, sorry, lost my train of thought. And the severity of pain varies for everyone. So what to do when you feel pain? Always keep a record of when you feel the pain, where the pain is in your body, what you're doing when you feel the pain, how intense it is, and the feelings, the sensations that it gives you. That will help your doctor get a better treatment plan, and that will best fit you and your needs. So the first thing to do, other than keeping track of it, is notify your doctor. So whether it's your primary care physician or a pain management doctor, either will do. And then follow through with the testing and treatment plans. And that includes advanced testing, advanced imaging, blood testing, and muscle and nerve testing. Common treatments and alternatives include physical therapy, which stretches and strengthens the muscles, and acupuncture is a type of therapy that uses very thin needles that are placed into the skin. And we have Reiki, which is a Japanese form of energy healing. And massage therapy uses touch to loosen and heal the muscles and soft tissues of the body. Oftentimes, other alternatives that don't work out tend to lead to medications, which are usually over the counter, and that's usually like Tylenol or ibuprofen or naproxen. Others are narcotics or opiates, so those can be hydrocodone or oxycodone, tramadol, anything that you have to get a prescription for. The only thing about those is they tend to be very addictive, so the goal is to try the other alternatives before resorting to medications. So another alternative and lifestyle practice that I'm going to talk about is Ayurveda. So Ayurveda is one of the world's oldest medical systems. It originated in India over 3,000 years ago, and is a lifestyle practice that focuses on balance within the body, daily routine, diet, exercise, past and current lifestyle habits, your current and past symptoms, and also some medical history. Ayurvedic pain management essentials include yoga and meditation, breathing exercises, specifically belly breathing, which is where you inhale and your belly inflates, and as you exhale, your belly goes down. Balanced diet. Ayurveda has 6 tastes, which are sweet, sour, salty, bitter, pungent, and astringent. Those are said to promote balance and wellness, which in Ayurveda, if you have a healthy digestion, then you are prone to live a healthier life, thus reducing pain. And last, we have Panchakarma, which is detoxification. Panchakarma targets accumulated waste and removes it from the body, strengthens the immune system, and reduces aches and pains. Ayurvedic pain management essentials also includes warm pain-relieving oils like Mahanarayan oil. And we have Arnica oil, which is great for acute joint and muscle pain, and Margundi oil, which is really good for muscles and joint pain. Ayurvedic health counselors tend to rely heavily on herbs as a natural way of healing the body. And some of those herbs are turmeric, which is a great anti-inflammatory. Shalaki strengthens the joints from within the body. And eucalyptus, which can be used internally Or externally, most common is an essential oil. It reduces swelling and arthritic pain. And also there are Ayurvedic body therapies such as Avianca, Shirodara, and Swedana. We'll get into those. Swedana is very, it's kind of like per-season. Swedana is pretty much just sweating everything out. You steam the body to release those toxins and to pull them out. Usually typically done in like the colder months. It's a lot harder to do that in the summer months just because it's so heating, and adding more heat to your body can cause more imbalances. So Avianca is Ayurvedic massage, which uses herbal oil, warm herbal oil, which lubricates, detoxifies, and rejuvenates and protects the skin and central nervous system. So when you warm the oil, you use an avi bowl with just a tea light candle, and you put your oil in here, and the candle goes in here. Once you light it with your oil, it warms and it just sits on top. Avianca liquefies the toxins or the ama in your body, which drains it into the GI tract for elimination. So after an avi, it's really good to make sure you hydrate the body, drink lots of water, and rest. That's the best thing to help pull those toxins out, and just let your body be. It also nourishes the bodily tissues, releases tension in the body, and increases blood circulation. It also aids in lymphatic drainage, which is the body's detox highway. It can be performed at home using a dry skin brush and warm sesame oil, castor oil, or even sunflower oil. Castor oil, I would suggest using it in the colder months just because it's a lot heavier. So in the summertime, you want to use a lighter oil such as sunflower oil. So here I have a dry brush, which you can either have the handle, or if you want to take it off, whichever is most comfortable for you. And here we have sunflower oil. As you can see, it's very clear and very thin. And now I have a video of me demonstrating how to do Avianca. Welcome to my bathroom. Okay, so first you want to prepare your candle and your oil, set it on top so that it's warm. Sometimes if it's not warm enough, you can use 2 tea light candles. I found that that works best. And you don't need a lot, just enough. So you want to start at the feet and work your way up. You want to increase the blood flow to go towards your heart instead of away from your heart. No pressure. So this not only helps detoxify the skin, but also helps with lymphatic drainage. Our bodies tend to get very stagnant, and we live very chaotic and stressful lives. So we don't really take the time to nourish our bodies. So this is a perfect way to give your body some love internally and externally. It's definitely great for hydrating the skin. It also pulls out those impurities. And over the joints, you'll notice that I'm kind of rubbing, just giving those joints a little bit of, extra love. And you can either do this sitting or standing. You can do it inside of your bathtub, or I have a step stool. That's where I like to do mine. I noticed that it's a lot easier to do it in a bathroom if you're sitting on top of a towel, just because the oils can get kind of messy, especially if you're not used to working with oils. Also, thinner oils like sunflower oil can be very slippery. So if you're not used to the consistency and how they work, it can definitely be a mess. So I definitely suggest putting it on top. So you can start side to side, and then you can either go in fully with the dry brushing and then do the oil, or you can do as I do, is I start one limb and then work my way with oil. Typically, Avianca is done starting on the right side, going from leg to leg, and then arm to arm. When I'm at home, it's a little bit different. I just kind of go from one side to the next. It's kind of just how you're comfortable, but we believe in polarity. So we like to start from one side and next. And that way, energy is just, it stays aligned. Oh, that's great. Thank you. Next, we have Shirdar, which is a continuous stream of warm oil on the third eye center, which is directly center of your forehead. This is the home of your intuition. If you feel like your mind is cluttered or you're feeling very drained and your body is just tired and you're aching, this is one thing that will help calm your central nervous system. It revitalizes the mind, relaxes thought patterns, relieves thought patterns, and induces meditation, which allows the body to fully rest. It also increases blood circulation, which will help your muscles relieving that pain. It also works best post Avianca. This is actually a picture of Shirdar that I did on the clinic floor. There's a video up there. And key takeaways, Ayurveda is for everyone. It is very low risk, simple enough for you to incorporate in your daily life. It focuses on relaxation and a better quality of life. In Ayurveda, we like to take our time. So sitting down and eating or just being present in your space, all of this calmness that Ayurveda promotes helps your body relax. And that is one of the key things to living with pain. It also decreases the body's exposure to more toxins, which will help as a preventative and keep those toxins away so that your body is not going through that painful stress. It is also tailored to each individual's needs. Not everyone's the same. So when you get an Ayurvedic consultation, you will go over what your life is like, not what 1 out of 10 people, this is their pain and this is the lifestyle that they live. It's all based on you and your needs and what you need. So that's why I think that Ayurveda is a great way for pain management. Thank you. Do you have any questions or comments?
I have a question. What does your mom like the best that you showed her?
So far, she likes Harataki. It's definitely, she was recently diagnosed, so she's had like IBS and stuff like that. But recently, within like these last few weeks, she's gotten diagnosed with Crohn's disease. So it's definitely helped her with the bloating and the lethargy. She said that she was just feeling very sluggish and just tired all the time, and she wasn't digesting her foods well. Her stomach has been like very rock hard, and just as a tea, a small concoction of like 1/4 of a teaspoon or maybe even half, depending on what you need, and about 8 ounces of warm water. Or if you need it to be a little bit stronger, you can take the same amount and 6 ounces of water, mix it with a little bit of honey, and then just drink it as a tea. Any other questions? No. Thank you.
Yay!
I was thinking I skipped through one of my slides.
This is awesome.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah,
Thank you.
because we're rolling, I'll give feedback tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
But
Oh, also, sorry.
Yeah.
I did bring other things that I love for another pain alternative. So bath salts are definitely great for the muscles. They help relieve that tension. It also gives you that time to just sit and relax and let your body just breathe. I make these myself, and this one has Dead Sea salt, which which is great for the skin, also great for pulling out those impurities. Lavender, which is very soothing. Epsom salt, which is great for relieving pain in the muscles. I also have rose, tulsi basil, and some pure essential oils. Yep. And then I have some that is without the essential oils. They both smell great, inducing that pain relieving sensation. There are also different essential oils that you can use. Specifically, like I talked about, thank you.
Yeah, like, when are you gonna start having selling these?
Oh, I have a link if you guys want to buy some. Yeah, I have it here. Yeah.
Did you still instruct it? I really love all of your, this is amazing.
Thank you. I actually just redesigned my.
Sorry, I didn't mean to give it away, but that's wonderful. What a great way to spend your time in school, to start figuring out that kind of stuff.
I also brought some essential oils if you guys would like to pass them around. And smell some. I have eucalyptus, lemongrass, tea tree, lavender, peppermint, and sweet orange. And one of these. These are all good for relaxation. They're also very good just for everyday use. If you feel like you're getting stressed out or if you need that breath of fresh air, a good lemongrass or peppermint, eucalyptus, they will help you kind of like revive yourself. Also, it's very good for stress relief. Releasing tension, very good for releasing tension in the body. We tend to be very, clenched and tense throughout the day. So taking a breath of something that gives you that, breath of fresh air really helps to relax the body. That's reducing pain.
Fabulous. I love that it has things around.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Yes, we need a TED Talk in Ayurveda. Awesome, great job, Amira. I wish your classmates were in person for this, but they're all online. They're all here watching you.
Oh, I forgot about that. I did. Hey, y'all.
What did you forget?
I forgot they were there.
Yeah, they're here. Let's see what feedback we get from them. I think a few people said something. Loved it, Amira, very nicely done by Christy. Nice job, Amira. I like that you incorporated the dry brushing demo. Awesome.
Yeah, I dry brush, but I feel like I never know if I'm doing it right. So that was great. I took some tips.
You know, Amira, I would roll with that because I really liked that you had the video and you talked over the video. I thought that was such a cool technique. You should take that with you.
Thank you. Do you have anything to do? You have anything coming? No, I didn't want them to come. No? So like, they're gonna make you laugh or something. Do you want us to stay and watch?
Amazing. Okay, Jasmine, I'm gonna pull yours up. And I'm so excited for this. You could start anytime you want.
Okay, so I did Unlocking Your Creativity and Ayurveda. So creativity can be seen as a tricky thing or as an easy task. It can mean many things said in different ways. It can be accepted, rejected, or unattended. It can be found, lost, or never explored. It is a powerful quality that lies within everybody. There's the naturals, others don't believe in themselves, and some can get blocked from it. My whole life I have come across creators, especially artists in my family. What I've noticed in the creative fields is that you can be really good, experienced, and still get artist block. Us humans can run into several problems causing several blockages, leading to also interrupting our creative flow. And Ayurveda has an interesting approach to creativity and recommendations to get us back into our natural state. So first off, what is Ayurveda? Ayurveda is the oldest healing system in the world. It is the knowledge, the science of life. It's been around forever. Ayurveda approaches everything with a view from the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. These elements are then reduced into 3 main doshas or energies. The doshas are vata, pitta, and kapha. The doshas can be applied to anything, like your body type, time of day, seasons, or food. The goal is to maintain health and balance for the mind, body, and spirit. We all have the 3 doshas in us, but 1 or 2 tends to be dominant, building our constitution. So I recommend finding out what your constitution is, taking quizzes online. You'll find out why you are the way that you are, your problems, their explanations, and more. It goes deep. So once a dosha is out of balance within you, disease or blockages can develop. Ayurveda will target those problems while keeping balance in every aspect of your life. Stepping back into balance could be a beautiful thing, even if it was a hard process. It can be hard finding and maintaining. So even when these little blockages come through, it's important to pay attention and learn your constitution to get back in your nature. So one of our natures as humans is to be in a creative zone. But what exactly is creativity? I feel like when we first hear that word, we mainly think of arts like painting or drawing. But it's not exactly just that. Arts are just the result of us working with the mind's eye. And art can be anything, that which moves us. Creativity has a lot of meanings, or it can be said in many different ways. It is the way you think, especially when solving a problem. It is developing your imagination, destroying a thought pattern, digging into the eye that sees everything as an art form. It is giving pleasure or relief to the eyes and the soul. It is an opportunity to create, to connect with source, see and release. Like, just think about it, like, before taking an action, you first ask yourself what exactly is going to happen. And by doing that, you're going within. Then you analyze your world and start coming up with ideas of how you're going to bring it all out into this physical. Now, that could have been your own idea to start something, or perhaps you were inspired. But either way, we can obviously see that the way that we are inside matters due to the production that's about to happen. It is important to check with the self on how we are doing. Are we good or not? How exactly are we feeling or thinking? The reason I say that is because when doing creative things, we are exposing ourselves. So take time to reflect and be with yourself. Journal. Get in the right headspace before taking action. Just remember to be you, be free, and release your creativity. So we might assume that everything first starts in the mind's eye. But it's actually just a tool. Everything is created from the source of the mind, which is pure consciousness. They just work together. Consciousness is what we are. It's the source of all experience, and creativity is just the quality of it. Tapping into
The self causes several things to arise, and it's up to us to decide what we can do with that information. We can be inspired, show a new world, a new solution, and even manifest whatever we want. You can work with your mind's eye and your own power to form your reality. When in the zone, you might find yourself asking things like, who do I admire? What am I meant to do? What do I want? How can I show my mind, my emotions, my experiences, and so on? We can look anywhere for inspiration. We can find it in our culture, family, a song, a celebrity, in a message, an event, the list goes on. So many creatives tend to not follow a schedule, which is a Vata dosha trait. Their ideas can spark up at any random time. I know for sure that all creators have stayed up late, maybe even gotten rest for days or weeks, either being consistent with their work or stuck trying to come up with new ideas. You'll find many saying that the nighttime is the right time, but always being up late and unorganized can interrupt the cycle of the mind and the body, causing things to shut down. The ideas stop, frustration starts. You wonder why everything is wrong and try to figure out how to get going again. And the good thing is that you can get it back. Or if you're new to the creative world, there's a couple recommendations or exercises you can do to tap into that side of you. It's important to acknowledge that no matter the lack of experience or evidence, everyone is creative. So in Ayurveda, Vata dosha is known as the creative one. It is made up of air and space. Vata qualities include light, dry, cold, and warm. Vata people tend to learn fast, have original ideas, they're enthusiastic, social, adventurous. They move all over the place, physically, mentally, and emotionally. They thrive on change, adding new things onto their life, changing the way they do things. Therefore, it makes sense as to why they're always creating new scenery in their life. The thing is, when we have too much of this movement going on, we can run into imbalance. There's also many other things that can cause it, like your diet, habits, routine, lifestyle, experiences. In the Vata body, imbalance can be shown through losing weight, constipation, pain, heart, and breathing problems. In the mind, it is shown as impulsive, anxious, ungrounded, and trouble with sleeping. With that being said, all of that can be put back into balance by just adjusting the way you do things. For example, the most obvious being your diet. For Vata, consume warm foods with healthy fats and avoid cold, dry, and rough foods. For the state of your mind, incorporate meditation or other relaxing activities that quiet down and soothe the mind. Go to sleep by 10, and if you can't, try taking helpful herbs like chamomile or ashwagandha. By maintaining balance, everything will start functioning well, like your creativity. You'll gain clarity and focus to continue your work. So just because Vata is known for being the creative one doesn't mean that Pitta and Kapha aren't. So the qualities of Pitta are hot, oily, sharp, confident, direct, and organized. Pittas naturally align with their creativity, making it easier to achieve their goals, except for when their focus is too intense. Their strong focus can make it a little harder to find creative solutions. They need to allow flexibility for well expression and let go of outcomes. When not in balance, they may miss out on opportunities to improve upon their ideas and they can put out their natural fire of creativity. So some tips to maintain Pitta balance are to eat fresh fruits and vegetables, cool off, meditate, avoid multitasking, and enjoy fun activities. Then we have Kapha.
The qualities of Kapha are cold, heavy, dense, cloudy, patient, and gentle. Kaphas tend to mostly be inspired. They are such naturals at creating stability in their world and in those around them. They need good daily practices to be able to bring their inner creativity into action. When they are not in balance, they'll seem stuck in a place that is not satisfying them in their creative zone. So to keep their inspiration, they may have to maintain a regular routine and practices that help their creative flow. Some tips to balance kapha are to consume light foods, incorporate movement, avoid overhydration, and explore with new activities. So in the creative fields, we can see the doshas in action, especially in celebrities or well-known creators. We can see the doshas in their appearance. One slide isn't showing. There's a missing slide.
Okay, let me just see, oh, that's so weird, these two are blank. Was there more people on that slide?
Yeah,
Oh no, I'm so sorry, it's not coming up.
okay, that's fine. So
Should I leave it on, oh, is this good?
there's a lot of images missing.
Oh, yeah. Should I just leave it on Harry Styles or whatever it is?
Yeah,
Okay.
so we can see the doshas in appearance, lifestyle, actions, history, and personal work. To name a few creatives, we have musicians, actors, directors, artists, writers, inventors, chefs, fashion designers, hairstylists, or makeup artists. We constantly feed our mind and soul these artistic or meaningful things, and it can affect our life so much. For example, there is no doubt that musicians are such a huge impact and inspiration to the world. They have their goals set and intentions to catch us in a certain way. It matters what they produce and what they represent since we take it all in. So we consume their messages, products, their visuals, or perspectives. We can see their impact on us through the way we start acting, dressing, or even thinking. These people hold so much power that they can change a person's life. Now that can be a good thing or a bad thing. Most promote love, peace, confidence, all that good stuff. Others can unintentionally end up being a bad influence, setting unrealistic expectations, showing violence or unhealthy habits. So we have to be very careful of who we look up to. I have noticed that not only do we have all of these sources of inspiration and consciousness, we have proof that anything is possible. I have come across so many people that say, I'm not creative, there's nothing artistic in here, I'm not built for that world. And honestly, that upsets me so much because almost all of those people have already shown me their creative side without them realizing. There's so many cases where the person has already shown their creative potential and for some reason they don't notice. In other cases, we have people wishing they could be able to do anything creative. They're just stuck, too caught up in a world, not exploring others and not taking care of themselves. This is where all that self-care comes through, allowing yourself to connect with Source. It is such a magical moment, connecting with yourself, experiencing all the feelings, visions, peace, being able to push out an idea out of your mind into the physical reality. This is where you'll be able to see the power and uniqueness you hold. Your work can be appreciated by you and those around, maybe even the world. So for those that seem stuck or think that they have no creative potential, I'd like to share some ideas to help you gain clarity. It's not really a complicated thing. Just like balance your sacral chakra, read and reflect, wear what you've always wanted to wear, do unusual makeup looks, doodle something random, just let your hand move. Combine multiple objects and colors and create it into one. Exercise your thinking. Find challenges to give solutions to. You can even time yourself to get that fire going. Express what you feel. For example, painting how you see a situation, what colors do your emotions look like, things like that. So try to find a new way to do something, like shortcuts or do like DIY projects. You can even start to recreate like famous paintings. You can start by doing that. So do anything that makes you feel good, feel heard and seen, understood. Share it or don't. It's your word. So in conclusion, tapping into yourself and allowing creativity in your life is allowing yourself to be free. You will unleash whatever you've held on to. You will do yourself a favor and those around you. We need that creativity to improve our lives and give pleasure. So go ahead and see what's inside. And I have a video at the end that I want to end with.
Many years ago, I read where Napoleon Hill pointed out that the imagination is the most marvelous, miraculous, inconceivably powerful force that the world has ever known. But you know, the average individual uses the imagination, if they use it at all, against themselves. They imagine what they don't want. They imagine the problems. Let's begin to use our imagination the way God intended it to be used. It's the greatest creative faculty that we possess, and we can do anything we want. Once you wander around your home or possibly your office, and take a look at all of the conveniences that you have there that you didn't have, let's say, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years ago, 25 years ago. Do you know that every one of them, without exception, was first created in the mind of one individual with their imagination? Do you know you can use your imagination to go into the future and bring it into the present? That's what all highly successful people do. They see where they want to go, and then they act like the person they want to become. It was William James from Harvard's advice. He said it's the actor's technique, act like the person you want to become. How do you do that? Well, you use your imagination, of course. You see, it's a strange phenomenon, but the greatest gift we've got is used very well up to the ages of 4 or possibly 5. The little child, we always wonder what's going on in their mind. They're using their imagination, they're building wonderful pictures in their mind. But then they get to school and fighting like that. It comes to a problem. It's called not paying attention. Daydreaming. Well, what they were really doing was exercising a phenomenal mental faculty. You see, we can see, hear, smell, taste, touch. Therefore, our physical mental, as long as we're living in a physical body and corresponding with the material world, we will use our sensory factors. But you know, I have a couple of little dogs at home that can hear, see, smell, taste, and touch. We've got higher faculties. You have perception, the will, memory, intuition, reason, and imagination. These marvelous tools. We can take our imagination and build an image in our mind of how we want to live. Block out what's going now. Don't let your present results have anything to do with this. Just what you want. And it's with your imagination that you will build it. Everything that we have The camera that I'm speaking to right now was first created in the mind of one individual. Think of how our world's changed. You see, we were gifted with these higher faculties. We're God's highest form of creation. We were created in God's image. We were given creative faculties to use. Did you know they're only used by 2 or 3% of the population? It's almost inconceivable that people would wander around with so much power and potential as fun. See, the average person literally tiptoes through life, hoping they make it safely to death. It's such a shame that it doesn't have to be that way. I think we have giant corporations and little wee creative departments. The primary reason for that is the average individual really does not believe they're creative. Everyone's creative, and no one is more creative than another. It's just that some have chosen to use their creative faculties to a greater degree than others. Imagination, your imagination. What do you want? How do you really want to live? Build the picture in your mind. There's a power that is flowing to and through you. A creative, unadulterated power. It can be photographed leaving your body. Way back in the 30s, Samuel Curling, the Russian photographer, perfected a form of photography where you can actually photograph a person's body and you will see the energy flowing from that. Well, that energy flows into your mind. And it's the images you build in your mind that's going to dictate the vibration that this instrument you're living in is in. And the vibration on a conscious level is called feeling. Make certain that you exercise your imagination daily. Build beautiful images in your mind of how you want to live, and then hold those pictures there and live that way. The imagination, the greatest nation in the world, the imagination. You've got one. It's a marvelous creative tool. It deals with the invisible side of your personality. You see, no one will ever really see you. They'll only see your body, and they'll see the great work that you do. Make certain that your work is great work. And if you keep your imagination alive, keep it active, you have a phenomenal life. You know, life can get better every day, and it will get better every day. Through the proper use of your imagination. What a wonderful idea. Smile.
Any questions?
Can you show us your painting?
Can you say that?
I think they're really simple. I didn't want to make it simple. Because I had like a lot of ideas for it, but I was also in a rush, so I just did some things.
What? It's good. So explain, because she's like, she probably understands some of this, so explain some of that inspiration.
It says Ayurveda in Sanskrit, and these are the chakras.
Love that.
Wait, I want to take a photo with you with that, please. Can you lift it up? Please, thank you. That is just really awesome.
Do you want the top? Yeah, that one, yeah. Make them hold that.
Perfect. Let me take one more without that in the background.
Yeah, really cool. You both had some amazingly creative presentations to end this day. I loved it, both of you.
It was,
it was funny listening to it because I'm like, you do, because I always say I'm not creative at all. And I'm always like thinking, oh, this is not right, what, you know, why? And I just keep thinking about the wrong things instead of like saying, but this is also working great and you could do this or you can go further, you know, with your job or career or school or whatever it is that I'm doing. So like, I don't know, it just did something to my brain and I was like, okay, let me apply that. And instead of focusing on this, on the wrong thing and how I can fix it, just think about other better ways that you could, you know, make better choices or better life quality. So it was, my brain is still going and I really like that part.
Yeah,
Totally.
we really have to like, we, in this field, we find ourselves like, oh, what is right with this, or what's wrong with this? And the thing is, there's not really a right and wrong, it's
Yeah.
just, we just be.
Yeah, because you really brought up such a great point when you first told me about this, because you said that so many people in the world think they're not creative. That's actually a problem. There's like I thought of my sister, who's constantly compares herself to me, who's like, well, you got the creative juice. I'm like, no, you got it too.
We should never compare.
So you brought up such a good point, because I think that so many people actually feel like that's a negative quality to them. And like you brought up some cool things about doshas. Like vatas, they could create morning and night, but if they establish routine, then their projects could come to fruition faster.
That too.
Pitta people who are so competitive that actually do the comparing, and it's like create for fun. You know, burn it, throw it away, who cares? And then Kapha's actually like made me saying every day I'm gonna I'm gonna buy a book that tells me to do creativity for 5 minutes every day. It's really powerful. You guys picked some really great things.
Oh, nice.
And Eden said that, so nice, Jasmine, the artwork you used and created for his dissertation was beautiful. Beautiful, Jasmine, I really thought a lot about what you said. I've always blown off my own creativity when actually quite creative, and Eden said that was beautiful. Yeah, so great, guys. Okay, thanks you all for listening. I am going to put up your QR codes, and we'll talk about this more in class tomorrow.